Morning, everyone, and welcome to the 12th edition of the Maroon and Gray Saturday Show. I'm here at the Expositor. I've got two huge interviews today here. We've done a lot of football this fall so far. Things have been going great with that, but it's time to do a little hoops action here. So we got Coach Michael Dodgen here in the house today, here at the Expositor, and we're glad to have you today here, Coach.
Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely, and a little bit later we'll be doing an interview with Coach Mark Frazier. Huge announcement this week, historic announcement for the program. And we'll be looking at that here in just a little bit. But again, when I first came here, of course, doing girls soccer, I came here the very last day of school. And the first thing I see is this huge state championship sign in boys basketball. And you walk into the front. Of course, I didn't know where to walk into, so I walked right in the front. There's just pictures, articles, just a historic girls basketball program here. And just huge stuff here. Nationally ranked, district championships, state tournament appearances. You could tell that rich basketball tradition. So glad to have Coach Dodgen on the show here today.
I appreciate you having us on. And first off, I want to say congratulations to Coach Frazier and his bunch. They had a fantastic year, and Mark's done a great job with that program from where it was 4 years ago. And congratulations to them and his players and coaches on a great year.
Yep. Yeah. No, we're real proud of them. They made the community proud and made some history and stuff, and just really proud of them. It's been a fun ride to watch it. But again, you had to. It's crazy how you had that big emotional ride with them, and then you got to switch gears now because we got basketball coming up and two really good teams coming up, and so now. A little bit of background here, and I know a lot of folks out there know this, but some of them obviously don't. So Coach, now how long have you been here at White County?
This is starting my 8th year here at White County. I was at Cannon County for 10 years before I came here, and then was at Smith County for 3 years. So this is year number 8 for me at White County, and it's been a real great experience for us and me and my family so far. And it's a very, very rich, as you alluded to, very, very rich basketball community, and it's a basketball tradition, not only on the girls' side, but on the boys' side too. So, it's a fun environment on most Tuesdays and Friday nights, and then that's what you want as a coach. And then as a player, that's what you want too. You want to be able to play in front of a packed house, and our kids get that. They get that qualities every Tuesday and Friday night that we play at home. And most of the time on road games, a lot of times we've got more people in the stands than the home team does. So that comes with the course of tradition, and we've got a great following that comes out and watches our men's and women's teams.
Yep. Now, when you were at Smith and Cannon, had you ever had to face White County before?
I did. When I was at Smith County, we played them one time and in a tournament, and then when I was at Cannon County, I came up and played in their Christmas tournament, and then they came down and played in our little Thanksgiving tournament that we would have every year. So I had played White County 3 times, and when I was at Tennessee Tech and worked for Coach Worrell at Tennessee Tech, we had multiple players that played at White County High School with Andrea Baldwin, Amber Clark, Amy and Miranda Moore. We had plenty of people that were from Sparta that were on the Tennessee Tech team there for the 5 years that I was there with Coach Worrell.
So, but before you ever stepped foot as the head coach, you knew about the tradition, you knew about how it looked and what it was like.
Well,
and stuff.
It started back when my middle sister, played AAU. She played with Candace Mitchell, who was from White County, and played with some other Upper Cumberland players. And they would practice at White County on the weekends. They would all meet there and practice. So you kind of learned and developed a lot about the history and the tradition of White County from, back in the late 90s, early 90s when my sister was playing AAU with, like I said, Candace Mitchell and some of those people.
Gotcha. Now, last season we advanced to the region tournament, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So now was it first round, second round?
Well, we finished second in the district tournament, so we got to host the first round of the region, and Page High School, which ended up going to the state tournament, got upset in the district tournament. So that brought Page, which at that time was the number 1 team in the state, to our gym to play, and we fell short that night against them. But we had a good year last year. We were 23-8. We were tied for first in the regular season, finished district runner-up in the tournament. But our district and region is arguably one of the best in the state, year in and year out. Just not last year with obviously Upperman winning the state title, but it's year in and year out that Upper Cumberland basketball is some of the best basketball in the state of Tennessee. And I know you're a West Tennessee guy, and those people at Gibson County think that basketball was made there, but and they've got a good program, but arguably night in and night out, from single A to double A to triple A to 4A, the best basketball in the state of Tennessee is played right here in Middle Tennessee. I mean, it's just there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, and people can get mad, they get upset, but until you have to go through the gauntlet of, especially in our district, you've got Upperman, Livingston, Stone Memorial, Cumberland County, Macon County, DeKalb County. You've got teams in our league that are going to finish 5th, 6th, and 7th and not make the region tournament that would win a lot of district titles in other districts just because of how strong our basketball is.
Well, girls basketball, I mean, I've heard it said it's kind of like, kind of use a religious term, like it's become kind of a mecca in Middle Tennessee, especially for the whole country. Like some of the best girls basketball, whether it be high school, whether it be college, but some of the best girls basketball in the country is played in Middle to East Tennessee, with Knoxville obviously, but with the Lady Vols obviously, but I've heard it said that that's become a thing in the last 10 years or so, that just in and of itself, Middle Tennessee's had some of the best basketball.
It's gone back farther than that. I mean, if you go back and you go at our gym and look, in 1928, our girls basketball program won a state title. One of the first state titles that was recognized by TSSAA was in 1928, and White County's basketball team won that state title that year. So it's just not recently, it's gone back. You've got Jackson County that won 4 in a row. You've got Livingston that's won a couple. Upperman's won 3. Arguably could have won 2 or 3 more back in the early 80s and 90s if some injuries hadn't have happened. York Institute's won some. It's all across the board, from starting in the 6-on-6 era all the way till now. And White County girls, if you go in the gym, they've been to the state tournament a lot of times. Now, back in those days, you ran into another Middle Tennessee power, which was Shelbyville.
Okay.
And then an East Tennessee power, which was Oak Ridge. So you've got basketball at this level, at the AAA level, which White County was for many, many years. And then when TSSAA went to 4 classes, we still stayed AAA. It's just been dominant in Middle Tennessee basketball. And it's not, a lot of it's players. There are good basketball players in Middle Tennessee. Kids that come from great families who spend a lot of time working and getting better. But your coaches in Middle Tennessee, in the Middle Tennessee area, are fantastic. And especially in our league. I mean, every night you're going up against coaches that have either played or coached in a state tournament or have won state titles. And that's unheard of in any league that's across the state, that you've got 7 girls coaches that have either played, won, or coached in a state tournament. Right. That doesn't happen very often. And that's why it's so tough on Tuesdays and Friday nights from January on into March.
Right. Yeah. Well, I know. Back at the high school I went to, Gibson County, years ago, we would all we would go to state multiple times, but there would always be some Middle Tennessee's team. I think we got put up by Livingston Academy one time. And then this last year when they went, of course, I had no clue at the time when I was going to that game. We got put up by York Institute. I'd never even heard of York Institute. And then now I'm over here. We're playing on girls soccer a few months later. But that's that Middle Tennessee, just that juggernaut that you run into, both on the far eastern side and the western side. If they have to win, they got to go through Middle Tennessee.
And that's every year. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not boasting anything or anything like that, but I would be shocked if in 2A basketball, if 3A basketball, and possibly even 4A basketball, if somebody's not in Middle Tennessee not competing or winning a state title. Yeah. And we've yet to even touch on in 1A with Clark Range. I mean, you got a guy, Lamar Rogers, that's in the National Hall of Fame for winning over 1,000 games and 9 state titles. You're talking about in every classification, there's a team or teams. Some year there's 2 teams from Middle Tennessee that end up playing each other in the finals. It's happened many times. that you got to get a state title, you're going to have to beat a team from Middle Tennessee 90% of the time, and it's been that way even when I was in Canyon County. You know, we were fortunate enough at one point we were ranked the #1 team in the state. Well, the only problem with that was there were 4 other teams in our district. There were 5 teams ranked in the top 10 at one time, and we were all in the same district. Last year, we were ranked, Upperman was ranked, Livingston was ranked, and Cumberland County was ranked in one of the polls. So we had our top 4 teams in the top 10 of the AP poll in the state of Tennessee. That's unheard of.
It is unheard of.
And especially high school girls basketball. So you've got a great situation in Middle Tennessee. You don't have to go very far if you're a fan of basketball to watch good basketball, because every Tuesday, Friday, sometimes Saturdays like today, there's going to be good basketball in the gym somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's also interesting too. I think this is the kind of the way it is in East. I know it is the way in West. Now with the 4 classifications, it's changed a little bit, but honestly, a lot of those areas they don't play 3A basketball. There's a lot of 1A and 2A schools, and yes, you know, sprinkled over here and there, there's a few bigger schools, but I mean, you're talking about a school our size playing against a school with another 1,000 students and another 3A basketball. Just the depth, the coaching you tend to get with that kind of thing, it just makes for a super competitive area.
A lot of times on that mixing is you get rural schools.
Yep.
So you got schools that their community takes pride in the game of basketball. White County, and I've said it since I've been here, White County athletes are extremely fortunate because every Tuesday, Friday night, whether it's Friday night football, whether it's a softball game, whether it's baseball, whatever it may be, there's going to be a huge crowd because of the community support that they put behind these young men and young women every night that they step on the floor. It's the same at Livingston. It's the same at Upperman. It's the same at Stone Memorial. When we moved into this district, the first thing Coach Mitchell and I talked about were our gates are going to be, the crowd at our gates are going to be unbelievable because we don't have teams that are traveling an hour and a half from the Eastern time zone into our gym. We've got people that are coming 15 minutes away.
Yep.
And, you know, it's a shame, honestly, that basketball is not supported that way statewide, girls, boys, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
We tell our kids all the time how fortunate they are that the following that we have, because not only are our fans knowledgeable, but most of them that come around either played at White County or had family members that played at White County. And when I first got here, it's just like the reserve seats. When I first got here and they're talking about what people have got, there's a list to get in the reserve seat section. A lot of schools, you're begging people to buy reserve seats.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Here, we don't have to do that. You got people begging to get a reserve seat.
Okay.
So, you know, it's a great atmosphere to coach in. You know, it's a great atmosphere to put your kids through. And the thing about it too is our fans are pretty knowledgeable too. They know the game of basketball. You got the people that sit behind us, the Harold Walkers, and those people that have not missed games in 20 years, 30 years.
Gotcha.
You know, they're wanting a schedule in July so they can go ahead and plan that calendar out so they're not missing basketball games. So, you know, we're pretty fortunate. We got a lot of community support, and you know, that's what we want to be around.
Absolutely. Well, you know, another interesting thing about just White County in and of itself, White County High School, and it is this way some places, but a lot of places you look at high schools that are started in the 80s, the 90s, sometimes 2000. Like I think Stone Memorial is only maybe 20 years old.
Yeah, if that.
So White County has over 100 years of tradition. I mean, they've been probably playing basketball for maybe 100 years, maybe 90 years.
You probably had some peach baskets.
Yeah.
When people in White County first started playing
So
basketball.
you could arguably, you might be the great grandson or the great granddaughter of a former White County basketball player.
You go back to when Steve Holland and those guys, Keith Short, those guys were coaching here. On one team back in the 90s, you had 7 girls that signed Division I scholarships.
7.
That's unheard of. You had kids going to Virginia Tech. You had kids going to Tennessee Tech. You had kids going to Middle Tennessee State. You had kids going to Vanderbilt. Obviously, Kelly Jolly went to Tennessee. You had White County has always had that tradition And we've been fortunate in the 8 years that I've been here. We've been able to put kids in college programs, and they've gone on to the next level, and they're playing basketball. They're getting their educations paid for. And at the end of the day, as a high school coach, yes, you want to win high school games, you want to try to win state championships, but being able to see, my personal kid and other kids that we've had be able to go on to the next level and get their education paid for and still play the game that they love, that's a fantastic feat too, and something to be proud of for your school.
Absolutely. You had a daughter. She signed with MTSU, though.
Yeah, Gracie's a sophomore at MTSU currently. She's redshirting this year. She had an injury at the first week of practice. Ironically, she was playing defense, so
well, there you go.
I don't really know what that was about.
Right.
But she was fortunate enough to have a good career here. Became the all-time leading scorer, past Ginger Jarrett, who signed at Vanderbilt, and she had a great career, great community support, and she's at MTSU now playing for another Hall of Fame basketball coach in Rick Insell.
Yep, Rick Insell. Yeah, I think he's already in Tennessee Hall of Fame.
He's in 9 Hall of Fame.
There you go. There you go. So,
he's in about every Hall of Fame that you can mention.
Right.
And deservingly so.
Yep. Yeah, I got to meet him one time when he came to GC to watch a player one time. But really, so that's huge. We've had so many other players and that have done great things and stuff. Now she was a big 3-point shooter last year, right?
She was, yes. 2 years ago, she's got the state record for most threes in a game. She hit 15 in a game, and so that's something individually that she was able to do, and she finished second all time in the state with 3-pointers made in a career. So, she was a good shooter. She didn't learn that from me. I think she learned that from my dad, who is the athletic director at Farragut, and he scored over 3,000 points in high school, and he worked with her religiously when she was younger and helped her out with her jump shot, and it paid off.
There you go. Right, yeah, sure. So now, going into this season, how many seniors did you lose from last year?
We lost 2. We lost Elena Stiles, and then we lost Andy Hastings, that were our 2 seniors last year. And Elena started for us off and on for 4 years. She's now currently at Freed-Hardman, playing at Freed-Hardman.
Okay, yeah.
And then Andy Hastings played different roles for us. She started some games for us, came off the bench for us a little bit. But, those 2 young ladies were fantastic locker room leaders.
Gotcha.
They were exceptional kids on and off the floor, but they did a really good job in our locker room for us and handled a lot of things for us. And, those are things that are kind of those unforeseen things that a lot of people don't know about, nor do they see that goes on. But Andy and Elena were 2 girls that stayed with us 4 years and were fantastic leaders.
Gotcha. Now, how many seniors do you have, or how many returning starters this year do you have?
Off and on, we had 4. We've got 4 starters returning.
Gotcha.
It could have been 5. KK started some games last year. Her and KB kind of interchanged a little bit at the point guard start, but we got 4 for sure starters. We got Lexi Golden, who's signed with Johnson University. We got Carly Gentry, who's going to Bryan College. Nia Powers, and KB Frazier and KK McDonald are our seniors, and all 5 of those had started at one point for us last year. Now Nia started every game for us last year, so she's a returning one that was on the floor for us quite a bit. Between her and Celeste Reed, who's a junior, those 2 young ladies started every game for us last year.
Gotcha. Yeah. Now, let's see. So, and you've got how many seniors? You said this.
We have 5.
We have 5 seniors this year. So it's kind of building up. So, kind of a smaller class last year, numbers wise, and then this is kind of one of those fruition type things. I'm sure.
Well, this group has came in together, and they're all 5 of them have stuck it out and they've stayed, and now they're kind of going to leave together a little bit too. Right. So this group's played a lot of games together. This group of 5 played a lot of AAU together when they were little. Okay. Nia's dad, John Powers, who owns Domino's there,
right.
He had an AAU team that he put together, and John coached them, and these 5 girls all played on that together, played a lot of weekends together, and so they've been together as a group for a long time, and that's, you don't get that in a lot of big cities. You get that in a lot of small towns, and that's a positive because those girls have played a lot of games together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. So, but now, who's our district this year?
Unfortunately, we have Upperman, Livingston, DeKalb County, Macon County, Stone Memorial, Cumberland County.
So the defending state champs are in our district.
Correct.
That's right. So
Correct.
Now, which 4 teams made to region last year?
It was us, Cumberland County, Livingston, and Upperman.
Okay.
So Upperman was. And when we went to the district tournament last year, Upperman was the 4 seed, we were the 3 seed, Livingston was the 2, and Cumberland County was the 1.
Okay.
Us, Livingston, and Cumberland County were all in a 3-way tie for first, but because of tiebreakers, we finished 3rd. So we beat Livingston in the semis. Upperman upset. I'm not going to really call it an upset. Upperman beat Cumberland County. So us and Upperman played in the district championship game, and they beat us. We played at Tennessee Tech. So, and then that just kind of started their little run there. And but it's not in and not out. It's great basketball games in our district.
Well, that just goes to show you that a 4 seed in the district tournament last year goes on to win state.
Well, and a 4 seed that with about 3 minutes to go in the first round of the district tournament in an elimination game was trailing DeKalb as a 5 seed and had to fight from behind and come back and win that game to even get to the region tournament. So, like I said, our district normally has 5 to 6 teams in it that could go win any other district in the state of Tennessee.
Gotcha. That's huge. And of course, I guess, you having watched them, you probably weren't even surprised that they did what they did.
No, I mean, any team that in our region is just as tough. I mean, you got Page, you got Tullahoma, who we're playing later on today. You got Lawrence County, you got Lincoln County. There's 8 to 10 teams in our district and region that could go win a state title. And there's nowhere else in the state that's got that district and region. I mean, it's, people can talk about this team's really good, this team's really good. Honestly, you could fill a top 10, the AP top 10, based on just our district and region.
Right.
And yes, it would make a lot of people upset, but I promise you, the sports writers wouldn't be that far off with the top 8 or 9 teams in our district being 9 teams in the top AP poll. They would not be very far off.
Gotcha. Well, now speaking of which, later today we've got Sevier at 12 o'clock.
Yes, Sevier County, which is a 4A school out of East Tennessee. They were in the sub-state last year. Farragut High School beat them in the sub-state last year, and they've got 4 of their 5 starters coming back. So it'll be a good competition for us at 12 o'clock. Then our boys JV team plays at 1:30 against Tullahoma. And then Tullahoma girls and Sevier County girls are going to play at 3 o'clock. And then Coach Mitchell and his boys play at 4:30 against Tullahoma, and then we play at 6 o'clock against Tullahoma. So it's a little chilly outside today. Tennessee doesn't play till later on tonight. Really no other game in this area I don't think that anybody really cares about except for the Tennessee-South Carolina game. So if you're looking for something to do, starting at 12 o'clock today, we're going to have some good basketball over at Royceville Gymnasium.
Absolutely, that's right, yeah. So now Tullahoma, they're in our region.
Correct.
So that could be, you never know, this could be a preview to later on in the year when it really gets serious.
Well, our district this year and our schedule this year is probably one of the best ones that we've played here in a while. And it's not that we've changed teams; it's that the teams are getting better.
Yeah.
We've got Warren County coming up. We're renewing a rivalry with Shelbyville. They come to our place on Monday. We've got Van Buren County, which is right up the road, and they were in the state tournament last year. Then you get into our district schedule. It's every night, anybody can beat anybody every night. Then today we're playing a team that was in the sub-state. Tullahoma was in the region last year. They lost to Upperman in the first round. Then we've got our Christmas tournament, the French Christmas Invitational, and it's, we've got South Gibson coming. We've got East Nashville coming. We've got York coming, Warren County, who won it last year, Bradford, Red Bowling Springs, Baylor School out of Chattanooga. We've got some really good basketball teams. Stone Memorial's coming in on the girls' side. It's going to be a top-notch tournament. It's going to be a high-level tournament. And then after Christmas, we're taking our team to Destin to play in a Christmas tournament at Destin. So our schedule is going to be really, really good, and hopefully it prepares us for January and February and that late run in March.
Absolutely. And it's so hard. People wonder sometimes, well, why do they load up on tournaments and stuff? Well, because that's usually when district tournament plays right after that in January. So you want to be playing your best bat. You almost have to play a bunch of challenge. There are some teams that come out of the Christmas break, they've actually got a losing record, but then they end up going on and win the district and everything else. But you have to play those hard teams to prepare for that hard district run, because every game counts at that point, and it gets serious then.
It does. I mean, every night that we step on the floor this year, I mean, we're going to have a challenge in front of us, and we didn't even mention our game with Cookville. I mean, you're
they're
going
ranked,
down the road, and Cookville's a state semifinalist team in 4A last year, and you know, they're proud of what they're doing, and you know, so you don't have to go very far around here to find competition, and that's a good thing too, because then in turn your gates are always good because it's local teams playing each other.
Gotcha. Well, so to start the season off though, we started off 1-0, played Negus County on Tuesday, and looked like the game was pretty much in control most of the time. Anything about that game?
I thought we started off really well.
Okay.
You know, a lot of times when you play your first game of the year, there's a lot of emotions and jitters and everything like that, getting yourself ready to go. But I thought, you know, we scored 25 points there in the first quarter and kind of relaxed us a little bit when we played. And we got some young kids on the floor and got them some minutes. And, you know, we're going to have some of our young kids step up this year and help us just with some of our numbers and things like that. So, you know, it was good for those girls to get on the floor in real life action and play and do that. You know, we played some play days before that and got your feet wet a little bit, but there's nothing like, you know, when there's 3 officials, the clock's on, people are in the stands, the band's playing, whatever it may be, and you're ready to go. It's a lot different than any other time.
Absolutely. And that was a Hall of Fame game.
It was, correct.
That was Hall of Fame. Is today a Hall of Fame?
Today's a Hall of Fame game.
So will Monday be the first? I mean, they count as regular season
Correct.
games, but Monday will be the first non-Hall of Fame.
Correct. Yeah, we play Shelbyville here Monday night at 6 o'clock. And then we take a little break for Thanksgiving for the holidays, and then we come back on that Tuesday and we play Warren County, which has became a pretty good rivalry with us in Warren County over the last couple of years. And we've got them at home. So our first 5 games on the year at home, which is always good to start at home and play in front of your home crowd. So, you know, we've got a pretty good schedule ahead of us over these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and of course, interesting little announcement about that. You know, with all that, we've had success on this show, and we've been enjoying having you guys out there. This is our 12th edition of the Maroon and Gray Saturday Show, but we've been talking with the expositors, been talking to us, and you know, Camden Sound does a great job with Warrior Media. They're at every home game. They do a great job. There's so many people across the state that love to watch. Maybe it's a grandparent, maybe it's somebody stationed overseas, a parent, different things like that, but they love watching White County basketball. So we were thinking, you know, what's a way we could try to fill the gap in for the away games. So this year we're actually going to be having the Maroon and Gray on the road. So we'll be going to the away games, the stream ball games, and to kind of keep our fans be able to watch the game even if we are away on this spot or this particular spot. So our first game to do that will actually be against Cookville. So that'll be on December 2nd. So it should be a good game there. And we'd like to thank, we'll be having our sponsors' logos up there. We'd like to thank Frank's, Cheeks Insurance Agency, and Wallace Insurance. They've been the first people to step up and want to sponsor this show, sponsor the basketball games. We'll be getting their logos in here and talking about them a whole lot more. But
three pretty good sponsorships.
Absolutely, right there. Now they're good people, and they were, when we talked to them about it, they were so excited. And we'll be having that more. We've been kind of slowly building up to this, not only for the show but also for the Maroon and Gray on the road, just because there's so many fans out there that want to see the games, and they'll pack the house out here, but maybe it's hard to get over to, let's say, Sequatchie or wherever, different places. And so we're going to be bringing that to them this year, and we're excited to have our sponsors on board, and we'll talk more about them a lot more here in the coming weeks. So, Coach, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
Good luck today. I know those are 2 big games, and good luck to this week and next week. And next week we'll start, our series. We'll have some seniors come on. I think we got Nia coming on next week, and so that'll be great. But Coach, thank you so much.
No problem.
Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Coach Michael Dodgen here, and glad to have him on the show today to kick off the girls basketball season here, or Warriorette basketball. And we'll have Coach Mitchell on here in the coming weeks. Actually, next week we'll be taking off from the show per se, because we'll be on Thanksgiving Day break. So kind of give them a little bit of a break with that. But yes, you can go that way. But let's see here. Is that here? You go. Okay, good. So yeah, we have him on the show here soon. We'll start having our seniors on here. We've got a lot of good basketball seniors to have on the show, but we're excited about all of that. So right now we're going to switch gears real quick. This week we had some very bittersweet news for White County. Sweet in that we're happy for him and happy in his next stage, but bitter in that we had Coach Frazier. He came on and he resigned on Monday after a historic 9-3 football season and a 4-year run here at White County. And so this week I talked to him about it, and he was going on the road somewhere on vacation, a much deserved vacation starting this weekend. So I wanted to get in touch with him and talk to him about just his run at White County and things that had gone on. And so we took the show to his place. So we went to the field house. It's actually it was a neat moment for myself in that that was where I first met him. When I first got here, I wanted to get involved with football, with filming and stuff. So I decided to go to the field house and kind of end it where we all started it. So either way, like I said, 'cause he couldn't be here today. He was on vacation today and tomorrow. So I went to the field house to go see him. So here's our interview with Coach Frazier to finish out and just talk about the season he had. So here we go. Let me see if I can get this situated here. All right. Like I said, I'll cut this first part out. Well, so we got Coach Frazier here today. So huge, bittersweet news just came out this last week. So we you made the announcement to the boys, and but you've decided to resign after 4 years here at Warrior Football, and so take us through what's that been like? What's been the journey to come to that decision been like?
Well, the decision was made from the get-go. When I took the job, I said I was going to coach 4 years with that Bray was here, and it's been awesome. And very excited about it, and sad to sit in a little too early. We really felt like we had a shot to go further this year than we did, but a great group of kids and a great group of coaches, and the administration and everything's been awesome. So, it's not I'm stepping down, it's just that I'm stepping aside to let some other guys continue on. So it's, bittersweet for me too. I'm going to miss being around. My plan is to still be here and to help some if everything goes right with the next coach. So if that goes that way, I'll still get to have a part, which is exciting. Maybe a little less stress, and but still get to enjoy the fun parts about it. And the most parts that being around the kids. So like I said, it was a great season. Enjoyed the boys, and sorry it ended so soon, but it was a decision that was made a long time ago.
So you've been coaching for a lot of years, and there was a time when you didn't coach. What was your first year coaching?
Started in 1999.
99. Now, somewhere along the lines there, you won a state championship.
Won in 1999.
It was 99. There you go. And what high school was that with?
So Coney County in Georgia.
Now, you did that, and then you were there for a few years. How many high schools have you coached at?
Two.
Two.
Coached at Oconee County here.
Okay.
So I coached there for 3 years, and we're very successful there. Luckily, had a lot of really good players, and a couple of guys. One guy goes to the NFL. Several guys in Georgia and different Georgia Tech, different Duke, different guys that are D1 guys. So won it the first year, then basically ended there at 35-5. We went to the quarterfinals the next two years and lost in the quarters. So really good football team. Then moved back here, and I've coached on and off here under two different coaching staffs with Coach Malone and Coach Hauser, and then came back as the head coach.
So before you started this last 4 years, how many years were you away from it?
Well, I took a break in between each of those. So I would coach 2 or 3 years, then take a break for 2 or 3 years, come back. And so that's kind of how it's been. 4 years is the longest I've actually coached straight through at any one point. I've always had a break of a couple in between it. So
gotcha. So this last run, when you did that, when you looked at the situation, was it one of those situations where you were thinking, I need to do this, I want to do this, a little bit of both, or was it one of those things where you just thought, this is the right time, I need to make this run, I want to do this for the guys, for the community, for White County? What was the decision to, when you first started, making a 4-year commitment is difficult no matter how you plan it, what was that like?
Well, I came from the middle school, so these kids were coming over. So, Coach Lowry had stepped down, and so there was an opening there, and so the timing was good. I've always wanted to be the head coach here and give it a shot. And my son being around was the deciding factor, and all those other kids too that I've grown up with being around. So it's kind of neat to see them grow. So it was an easy decision as far as the timing goes. It was a tough decision to decide if you really want to put your heart and soul into something that doesn't necessarily pay a lot of money, but the what you get back from this job isn't monetary, and so it was well worth it. I had Mike Sloan and JJ really pushing me to take the job, and they wanted to have a shot at it, and they've been a blessing as well. So they wanted to do it, and then after we got going, it turned out to be a good thing. Had a great time, been a great 4 years.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And didn't you take over? Make sure, correct me if I'm wrong here. Wasn't there a time when you took over that we weren't even playing in region play?
When I took over, we were non-region. We went 2 years. The first 2 years I coached, we were unable to make the playoffs regardless. So we had a non-region schedule, and then last year was our first year actually with the opportunity to make the playoffs. So had 2 years to make the playoffs in my 4 years, and then eventually did it this year. Got that first win.
Now, was that daunting for you going in? Okay, we're at a point. Some programs never go through that. Some programs, there have been multiple programs who have gone through that. And it's a tough situation, but sometimes it's almost necessary. You just keep getting pounded upon pound, different huge conferences and stuff. But going in, was that daunting knowing, that's the current state of affairs as you walked in?
Well, I didn't want to be non-region. That decision was made before I took over, but looking back, it was a good decision. We got to play guys, basically be the same teams we'll be going into playing now in 4A. It's those kind of teams, which we should have been playing all along. So it was good to get back down to playing some guys. We played Livingston and some of those teams that we'll see a lot over the next 2 years. So it wasn't great not being able to make the playoffs. That's a goal that we wanted to do from the get-go. So we had to wait 2 years to try to get after that. But it helped us to establish the program and get some wins and get the kids out in the building that need to be out and establish the weight program. And you get some guys after you've been 4 years into it that have been through the program, since you've had them from the get-go. So I think, that was, in the long run, it was a good thing that we were non-region the first 2 years.
Yeah. I think it seemed like that's what kind of got us back in the right direction. And then, the season before, which was last season, they had some experience, some success. I think we had a winning season. Is that correct?
We've never had a losing season. These seniors have never had a losing season. So I don't know what it would be like. You'd have to go back and look. They're 24-17. I don't know that you'll find a winning class that won more games in 4 years unless you went back into the 60s. There were some teams that back there probably did, but in the last 50 years, I'd say that's the winningest team as a group that's came through for a 5-year period or 4-year period. I'm sorry. So they got a lot of things they can be proud of.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. And I'm sure, you played here at White County. I think you played running back, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Played running back here at White County, and I'm sure, you went off to coach other places, and then you came back here. I'm sure. That's kind of a lot of football guys' dream, to come back to their alma mater, but not only come back to their alma mater and coach, but to get it turned around and to make some and put your mark on it. So, what's been your proudest thing about the last 4 years?
Well, that's kind of when we started. We just want to be able to watch a football game and inspire and enjoy the game. And it'd been a while since we've been able to do that. So excited to be back competitive. Talent comes and goes in high school. You can't always be on top, but you can always be the best you can be. And that's what we want to try to do here. And I think the program's been established. I hope that it continues on the way we've started. And I think that if that's the case, then I'll be able to sit in the stands on any Friday night and have a chance to win a game. So that's what we tried to get done, and hopefully that's what we achieved.
Right. Now, of course, I don't know a lot of people are saying it just yet, or because this whole season's kind of coming to a. I think it'll take a while for us to kind of understand, what actually happened this season. But I guess to put it into perspective, first time to make the second round of the playoffs in the playoff era, correct? And finished 9-3. And which is, arguably, you could argue this is one of the best seasons in our playoff era, in the playoff era of White County. So, just getting to experience that and getting to see that. Did you always know, seeing those freshmen and knowing what you could do, knowing what they could do, did you always know they could do something like this?
Oh yeah, we had no doubt. I was disappointed we didn't make the playoffs last year. Won a playoff game last year. We probably should have, looking back on it. And then, no doubt these guys were talented enough to do it. Very, very talented football team. Nobody, I don't care who coaches, you got to have players. And these guys, we knew from their 8th grade year that we'd have the ability to do it. Everybody talks about Malachi. He's an exceptional player, obviously, but there's a lot of other pieces in that senior class that are really good and mixed in with some of the juniors and sophomores. So yeah, we expected to do what we did. We actually expected more. I don't think if you don't expect great things, you're never going to achieve them. So we expected to win the whole thing. So disappointed that we're at 9-3, but they can look back on it and be proud. It was a great season. It was nice to get the monkey off the back with the playoff win, and hopefully that's the first of many to come.
Absolutely. So, of course, I know hopefully Malachi will be seeing him sign, and hopefully some other players might be looking at signing some different things here in the next spring. So you still got that to jump on with. I'm sure they'll have you at the signing and stuff like that. But Coach, it's been an amazing season. It's been an amazing 4 years. Everybody I've always talked to about you and has always just thought the world of you. And I know
a lot of folks in
that. There you go. But I know I came in the summer, and it's one of the first things I've always done when I've gone to a new school is coaching soccer. I've always wanted to try to help with football, at least with the film and stuff. And I just knew walking in here, you were just so welcoming, and I appreciate that just from a personal note. And it was a lot of fun helping to clip the film and be a part of this whole thing from that angle. But talk real quick about just the coaching staff you had and the people you had just in total. How special was it for your last season to be not only with these football players and the seniors, but the staff you collected over the last 4 years? I mean, everywhere down from people who filmed, who took stats, to coaching. How special was that to have that group?
Well, it's just a good group of guys. Curtis Beatty's the guy that's in the building. He does a lot of work. He's the guy that has to handle everything inside the school because everybody else is a volunteer. Steve Wilson works at the middle school, so he's not over here. So it was great to have those two guys, but then also to have the other guys that all volunteer come in at their own time. It's tough when you want to spend all your time here, but you got to support your family and do your job. So I just appreciate all those guys. And we had a great time together, good guys, and that won't be the end of that. So hopefully, if Curtis gets the job, we'll all be back around next year to have a little bit of fun too. So
that sounds like a plan. Well, Coach, it's been an honor. It's been a great season. I mean, I know the community just thinks the world of you. I've been watching, Facebook and stuff. I mean, people have been sharing left and right. We love you, Coach Frazier, all this different stuff. I think it's all completely deserved, and it's been an absolute honor. And I appreciate you coming on. Not only by the way, just little things like this. Our very first Maroon Gray Saturday show was with you, so you kind of got that kicked off. You made it cool, so to be on here. So, but I appreciate that. I appreciate everything, and and of course we know we'll see you around. So, Coach, thank you so much.
All right, see you, man.
Yes, sir.
And so there you have it there, folks. We had that interview with Coach Mark Frazier, and we want to wish him the best of luck. It has really been an honor to work with him during this historic season. And if you don't know him, to know him is to love him. He's just a great guy, great coach. I know those boys were disciplined, loved, coached. It was just it was a special experience to get to have that one season with him on his football staff and to have him on the show twice. And so really appreciate him and all of his efforts. Again, so we're heading into basketball season. We're also heading into archery season. We're right in the thick of bowling season. And, of course, the cheerleaders are out there doing their thing and doing a great job of basketball. And so a lot of exciting times here at White County. Again, we are going to be expanding the show. So the show obviously will be here every morning at 9:30 on Saturdays, the Maroon and Gray Saturday show. But, again, we will be looking at going on the road to the away basketball games this year. Our first game will be against Cookville, over there in Cookville. So which be a big basketball game, big rival game. So we look forward to being there for that. And again, we will be having our sponsors on the very next show. We'll be having our sponsors actually on the screen. You'll be seeing that. We do want to thank our first 3 sponsors to come on board. We have Jason Del Toro with Frank's, Cheek Insurance with Julie Cheek, and Wallace Insurance with Randy Wallace. We really appreciate them coming on board early here with both the show and the Maroon and Gray on the road. So we got the Maroon and Gray Saturday show and the Maroon and Gray on the road. So I appreciate them being on here. We'll have their logos on here. And if you're interested, by the way, you can contact us at the Expositor at 931-836-3284. If you're interested in becoming a part and being a part of the show as a sponsor, we'd love to have you. And please feel free to call that at any time, or you can contact me. Either way works, and we look forward to having our new sponsors on there for the next episode and for the next game. And so, yeah, there you go. And for going forward. Now, next week we'll be taking off. It'll be Thanksgiving. And so got a lot of folks out of town, a lot of players out of town. So we'll be taking next week off. So I guess technically the next show we'll be at Cookeville. It'll be the Maroon and Gray on the road. So we'll be in Cookeville, Tennessee to watch another classic edition of the rivalry between White County and Cookeville. I know I've had only one experience of this so far, and it was in football. And the night was intense. So I can't wait to see it in basketball, especially with the great basketball tradition both schools have. So that'll be our next iteration of the Maroon and Gray. It'll be the Maroon and Gray on the road, and hopefully we'll have our 3 sponsors we have right now, and we'll have hopefully more sponsors, and we can't wait to have all of them on there. Again, we'd like to thank Jason Del Toro, Julie Cheek, and Randy Wallace with Frank's, Cheek Insurance, and Wallace Insurance. We appreciate them being our first 3 sponsors, and we look forward to having many more here soon. And so the next time we see each other, we will be on the road over in Cookeville, Tennessee. And then, of course, the next day we'll have the show, the 13th edition of the Maroon and Gray Saturday Show. We will be having a girls basketball player on for sure to talk about the game. Should have a boys basketball player and or Coach Mitchell that day. We'll also have the ROTC coming on to talk about the ROTC program and how things are going with that. They've had a huge color guard season so far with different events. They've got events a lot of weekends, but that's the first time we've been able to get them on the show. So that'll be on December 2nd. So we'll start off the day with that, and look forward to having them on the show. And we'll also be having different clubs and all kinds of different groups. There's so many groups. And it's interesting. Since we started the show, we've had more clubs come out and say, hey, can we get this on here? Hey, can we get that on there? And the answer to all that is a resounding yes. We can't wait to have all those clubs and all those teams on here, and look forward to it. And it's just a great day to be a White County Warrior or Warriorette. And hope everybody has a great week this coming week. It's a Thanksgiving Day week. We have so much to be thankful for. Not only being, living in the greatest country in the world, but also, getting to be here in White County. And it's a special place. It's full of a lot of heart, a lot of love. And it's just a great place to raise your kids, to live, to have a business, and obviously go to school. So, but either way, I hope you guys have a great week. I know we got school Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesday the students are gone, and we'll all be heading back to our go see our grandparents and stuff like grandparents and parents. And so I hope everybody has safe travels and just a good Thanksgiving Day season as we remember what we're thankful for, because there's so much to be thankful for. Either way, y'all have a great week. God bless, and go White County.